I will show you how to create, set up and control a stepper motor. So I've set up a simple stepper motor here. This is the motor game object, and this has an axis game object. This has a wheel joint assigned to it, and as you can see, it can only rotate over the axis that I've set on the wheel joint. To turn this into a stepper motor, select the game object that you wish to assign the stepper motor script to. So in this case, I'm going to make that the motor game object, and go to Prepare, Physics, Motor Components, and click Stepper Motor. This will assign the stepper motor script to the game object. Then in the Properties tab, you can set the properties of the stepper motor. First, assign the wheel joint. In this case, it's automatically assigned since there's only one wheel joint underneath this game object, so it's automatically assigned to the stepper motor. Then you can set the stepper motor count. This determines how many steps in a full rotation. So this translates to 1.8 degrees per step. Then you can enable half stepping. Set the maximum angular velocity, that is in degrees per second. So this would be a full rotation per second. And then the angular acceleration, that's how fast it can accelerate, and that is in degrees per second per second. And the offset should be 0. Now that's the offset of the motor relative to the 0 position on the wheel joint, but let's leave that at 0. In the live data, you can read the live data of the motor component, but to be able to control it, go to debugging and click generate control panel. This will add the control panel of the motor on this game object. You can also put it on other game objects, but let's leave it on this game object for now. Let's go to play mode, since the stepper motor will only function in play mode. And then there are a few things you can control here. First, the preferred angular velocity factor is a value between 0 and 1. That means if it's at 0, the preferred angular velocity will be 0. And if it's at 1, it will be the max angular velocity. So in this case, it's 360 degrees per second. So if I then start the motor, and I'll show you that in continuous rotation, you will see that it now starts rotating at approximately, well, exactly 360 degrees per second, as noted here. Current angular velocity 360 degrees per second. This continuous rotation will rotate until you tell it otherwise. So if I press stop, it will now stop, as you can see. Then the second way to control the motor is setting a target. So continuous rotation will rotate indefinitely, but maybe you want it to rotate to a certain number of steps. So let's say I want it now to rotate to the 5,000th step, and I press start. It will now start rotating, and the current step you will see here, and it will now stop at 5,000. There you go. Here you will see the current angular velocity, which is currently 0 degrees per second. Then the rotation in degrees is 9,000, and the current step is the 5,000th step. The current rotation state is idle, and it's currently not in error, as you can see here. Then for the continuous rotation, if we check this and start, then it rotates either clockwise or counterclockwise. In this case, it's clockwise, but if we select counterclockwise, it will now rotate counterclockwise, as you can see here. And then there is also the start automatically checkbox. If I check this, it will, well, as you would expect, start automatically. Either when you check continuous rotation, it will do so, or when you don't have continuous rotation set up, if you check start automatically and you change the target to whatever value, and it's not at that target at that point, it will automatically start rotating to that target. Then I can still stop it again. Then there is the error. If the motor component at one point cannot rotate to the target for whatever reason, maybe it's being blocked by something else, this will go into error state. I can simulate that by clicking error here, and you will see it go to error state. And now I cannot start rotating it. It will say it's in error. To reset the error, simply click reset error, and then it's ready for operation again. And then to reset it to its original absolute 0, you can click reset 0, and it will now rotate all the way back to the 0 position, the current step 0. So that's how you set up a simple stepper motor component.